Hi everyone, I'm Katie, an infant toddler Montessori teacher and registered early childhood educator. In today's video, I'm going to talk to you about what self-care looks like for 3-year-olds. The self-care skills that I'm going to talk to you about today are building off of the self-care skills that I talked about in the previous videos. Now we're just adding on a few more steps. It's really important at this age to remember to follow the child's lead. When I was studying to become a Montessori teacher, a really helpful tip that they gave us was to actually sit on your hands. When a child is learning a new skill, it's helpful if the adult sits on their hands to prevent them from interfering and offering help at the first sign of a struggle. A really helpful quote that I remind myself of when I'm observing a child learning something new is, never help a child with a task at which he feels he can succeed. If they look like they can do it, if they are determined to do it, if they're not asking for any sort of assistance or help, then you want to just sit back. You want to respect their desire to do it for themselves and trust that they're going to figure it out. Success with self-care tasks is going to depend on the child's interest level, so you want to remember to keep it light and fun. It takes a lot of time and practice to learn how to care for yourself, so don't be discouraged if your child isn't able to do all of these things right away. They will definitely learn. Another helpful thing to keep in mind is that it is okay to help them. If they ask for it, if they're feeling really tired, even if you know that they can take their shoes off by themselves, or you know that they can get undressed, or they can do, you've seen them do these things many, many times. Some days we just need help. Even as adults, right? We can do all of these things for ourselves, but sometimes we ask for help just because it feels good and we need it that day. All right, well, let's get into the self-care tasks. So the first area of self-care that we're going to talk about is self-care with undressing and dressing. Undressing is a lot easier than dressing. So if this is your child's first introduction to getting dressed and undressed themselves, I definitely encourage you to start with undressing. I'm not going to get into too much detail in this video because we do have an entire blog post dedicated to a step-by-step guide on teaching your child how to undress and dress themselves. So I will definitely link to that in the description below. When it comes to outerwear, at this age, you can definitely encourage them to take off and put on their shoes and their outerwear independently. At this age, you can definitely encourage them to start taking off and hanging up their outerwear once they come in from outside. You want to avoid shoes that are really tight. Laces are really tricky to navigate at this age, so I've always found that Velcro shoes or slip-on shoes that have a nice big opening that they can slide their foot into are ideal. I'll just add here that in the classroom, when we were getting ready to go outside or when we were getting ready to go home at the end of the day, I would give like a minimum of 20 minutes for the children to get themselves ready and out the door. It takes a lot of time, especially when they're just sort of figuring these things out by themselves for the first time. So you want to make sure that you give yourself and them a lot of time. When you're rushing out the door, this is not a great time to foster independence. So whenever possible, you want to try to leave as much time as you can. When it comes to clothing, at this age, they can certainly choose their own clothes from a low drawer or cupboard. They probably have a pretty good memory of the clothes that they have. They might even have outfits that they prefer. So I really encourage you to allow the child to sort of take charge of the clothes that they're going to wear. You can certainly sort of guide them in the right direction by having 2 or 3 outfits in this low drawer or cupboard for them to choose from. But in some situations, in my experience, I've had some children show up to school in a really heavy sweater when it's 35 degrees outside, and you know, you might end up with some really interesting outfits, but this is where natural consequences come in. The child that showed up in a really heavy sweater in the summertime realized very quickly that it was too warm for a heavy sweater and took it off. So a great learning opportunity there. As mentioned in my previous videos, I really encourage parents to also have a small hamper in either the child's bedroom or the bathroom, wherever it is that they get undressed, and encourage them to every day put their dirty clothes in that hamper. But now at 3, we're going to take it a step further because they're a little bit sturdier on their feet. They tend to want to help out a little bit more, is actually to invite them to help you with the laundry. So if you have a front loading washer, they can transfer their dirty clothes from the hamper into the washing machine. If you have a front loading dryer, same idea, they can transfer wet to the dryer. They can take the clean clothes out of the dryer, and so on and so on. A very manageable activity for them at this age would be to match their socks. You can give them the socks from the clean laundry hamper and ask them to match those up, maybe even break it down and show them how to fold the socks together. Another great learning opportunity with laundry is to sort the laundry. So you've got, you're doing the entire family's laundry. So you've got your parents' clothes and you've got the kids' clothes, and you can invite the child to sort the clothes too. Put mommy's clothes in one pile and put your clothes in a different pile, and so on. It's definitely going to take a little bit longer, and maybe you don't want to do this all the time, but when you're in the mood, inviting them to participate in doing the laundry can be a really meaningful task for them. Next, we're going to move on to the bathroom. So as I mentioned in the previous video, at this age, they can definitely be participating in brushing their teeth and brushing their hair. You just need to show them how to do it. Take your time. Do it beside them, brush your own teeth right beside them, brush your own hair right beside them, so that they can see how it is you're moving and holding the tools. At 3, autonomy is really important. So you might find it helpful to give your child a little bit more autonomy when it comes to bathing. In previous videos, we talked about inviting the child to wash parts of their bodies. You can certainly continue to do that. Give them a sponge or a washcloth and show them how to clean their bodies. But now you can add on the step of washing and rinsing their hair. They'll need your guidance when it comes to washing and rinsing their hair, especially how to tilt it back and to avoid getting soap in their eyes. But this is a really great invitation to a child who might be a little bit reluctant to wash their hair. If you're involving them in the process, this is the great thing about Montessori, is that we have found that by involving children in the process at a really young age, it sort of helps to curb those fears. Once they get out of the bath or the shower, have a small towel available and show them how they can dry their bodies. And if you have a nice low hook or a low towel rail, they can hang up their towel to dry when they're done. And then finally, toileting. Every child is going to learn to use the toilet at different times. So I'm not saying at 3 years they definitely need to be using the toilet, but this is a really good time to at least invite them to sit on the toilet. If they're using it, that's great. If they're still getting familiar with it, that's okay too. But if they are eliminating on the toilet, this is a really great age to teach them how to wipe themselves. You will definitely still need to help, and when it comes to bowel movements, you want to make sure that they have properly cleaned themselves. But this is a really important thing to teach the child, because once they go off to kindergarten, sometimes, depending on where you live, teachers are not allowed to help the children with toileting. So this is going to be an important skill for them to learn to do on their own. If you're interested in learning about the Montessori approach to toilet independence, we do have a video on this YouTube channel with that topic, so check that out if you're interested. An important factor of a child's success in completing self-care tasks is how the environment is set up. If you're looking for some advice on how to set up the different areas of your home to foster independence, do check out our series of How to Prepare Your Home For that is found on our YouTube channel. I'll finish off by saying that self-care tasks are going to look different for every child. Really, they are just more simplified versions of what you do, what the parents do to take care of yourselves every day. You are going to be their greatest role model. So remember to take your time, invite the child to observe you caring for yourself, break learning of new skills down into smaller steps, and just sit back and watch as your child learns how to take care of themselves. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye! Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, it really helps our channel if you like and subscribe. This helps other parents to find our channel. And if you have a question, feel free to comment your question below and we'll answer it in a future video. Take care. Bye.